What's up guys, Reese is back here with another video on how to install something onto your Honda Civic Si. What am I doing today? I'm doing a little while ago I did an unboxing video on the GodSpeed Rear Camber arms. I'll show you right now. And there you go. These right here are going in the car today. Been doing a lot, so this got put off for a bit, but these go in. I'll be able to enjoy, bring the car to front alignment, finally get that done, and get a little bit more cornering out of the back end. For those of you who don't know what this is, this will allow you to adjust the angle of the tire top to bottom, sort of like this. So, you know, for those who do know what this is, you can get some crazy hella flush, you know, like when you see those cars with the wheels poking out the side, that's what that is. I am not doing that. I just want a little bit more angle from the back, so that I can get a good alignment. I got a shop here who really takes their time. They drive your car before and after, and that's about it. Let's get into the install. First step, obviously, I'm going to jack up the car. All right. Actually, I'm going to correct myself a little bit here. The first step is to loosen your wheels. You don't want to jack your car and then try to get those off. You might need an impact gun at that point. But these are not tight, overly tightened. I do use a 3/8 adapter for my breaker bar. This is because this 3/8 is a lot thinner than like an impact one. And this saves my wheels quite a bit. I do scratch them every now and then a little bit, but that one doesn't even go in. Then your wheel lock. That's it. I'm gonna go do the other side and then I'll jack up the car. Okay, so now that we're here looking at the control arm on the passenger side, the first thing you want to have to remove is there's a bolt here, and there are 2 bolts right here. They're sort of lined up with the exhaust, so I might have to actually remove the exhaust system. I am lazy, so I always try to do things like this with as little effort as possible. Usually when you're dealing with these parts, you sometimes, like when I did the adjustment or the spring replacement, I had to hold the hub up, but because the shock is holding up the whole thing, I don't have to do that. That's actually a 12, I think. Yeah, that's a 12 millimeter socket there. Oh no, wait a minute, I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed the 15. That'll do it. Okay, 14 mil socket. 14 mil socket. Okay, that's loose. And once it's loose, grab the orange beast. Done. That will now come out. There you go. First half is out. Now we go under the car to check that out, see what that looks like. All right, to put this thing together, you're gonna need a few tools, but something very important, you're gonna need the most perverted jelly ever made, Vaseline. All right, that's the secret sauce to all of this. You'll also need a snap ring plier. That's what I have there in the middle, because there's some rings you're gonna have to put on later. Be generous with the happy sauce. There's no reason to try to go light. You can always remove it later. Clean it up. I use a dirty old rag. I just didn't want to slap all that into my hands. You also have to lube up the penetration point right here. Just lather up everywhere. All right, then just go ahead and press it in. I try to press it in by hand. I thought I had the arm strength to do it, but this stuff is real tight. I ended up giving up and using a tool to get it done. Work smart, not hard, people. Every now and then I do woodworking. So I have these wood clamps, and this made the whole process a lot easier. There you go. So this just tightens it, slides it all in pretty easily. You don't want to go too far. The snap ring needs to go on both sides of this bracket here. So right now I'm just eyeballing it. When I see the groove come out, and you can kind of barely see it. If I had better focus, you could see it. I'm gonna zoom in on this part here. And you do want to use these tools. This is a very cheap and expensive tool. The snap ring plier itself, it's something like $20 with interchangeable heads on Amazon. So there you go. This just opens the snap ring, even on both sides. Then you can just drop it in and it clicks into place. You're going to hear a clip. Not in this video because, well, there were a bunch of birds singing in the background, so I decided to do a voiceover. But that's pretty much it. The assembly is pretty simple and straightforward. I wish I didn't have to assemble it, but it is what it is. Sometimes I buy stuff and just like, oh, snap that off, snap that on, and Bolt on, bolt on. This should have had a major disclaimer at the end. Some assembly required. I'm just making sure the snap rings are good on both sides, but that's pretty much it. We can move on to the next step. Okay, now it's time to install the camber arm. Originally, I was going to put, I tried this method, put the bolt in on the knuckle first. There it is, it's secure. And then go ahead and put the two 14mm bolts that actually go into the chassis. For this, I use a very long extension and a wrench. I immediately realized that this wasn't going to work, so I decided to do the back first. And you can just thread these in by hand for as long as you can. Given that I don't have a lot of access, clear access on this side because of the exhaust system, I went in by hand as far as I could. I do not like stripping bolts. And then there we go, with a very long extension and the 14mm socket. Just try to get that in. I believe the front one, the one closest to the front of the car, was easier to get access to, and the back one was the one that I actually needed to actually wiggle the exhaust around. But I ended up using this 14mm ratcheting open-ended wrench. Yeah, that's a mouthful. And just tighten it as much as I could by hand. This bolt is a lot longer than I remember it being. But anyway, once it's sort of tight, you can sneak the torque wrench underneath or use the double wrench method that I used earlier. All right, that one's in. This is why I like using my Orange Beast. I don't love wrenching and wrenching. This video is playing at 175% speed, and this is so slow. But there it is, the double wrench method. That's a trick that an old mechanic friend of mine taught me. I would call him my Yoda. Back in the RSX days when I first started like putting just like an intake or an exhaust, he was a guy who was like, I don't know, teaching me all his mechanic tricks. There was something he did with brakes that was like, to this day, like it just amazed me. Instead of using a brake caliper, whatever, compressing tool, which I have, he used a screwdriver to depress the caliper before you remove the brake caliper. I'll show you that in some other video. But here's a picture of what I actually was doing, so you guys get a better idea of what it looks like when you're under the car. I tried to sneak a camera under here, but whatever, it wasn't gonna happen. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. The car is done, at least for now. Rear camber adjusting arms are in. This side obviously was the most trouble, although I wouldn't consider it that much trouble, because in the end I just had to move the exhaust out of the way. I mean, if you really want to help yourself a little bit, you could just remove the rubber hanger that's right behind this wheel here, and that should save you some time. Anyway, the driver's side I thought was going to give me a lot of trouble. The past couple of weeks I've been watching other guys' YouTube videos, and I ran into a video by a guy named Zoovis on YouTube. Really cool guy. I'd highly recommend you watch him. I'll post a link over here in the description, but I saw a video that he started doing his 9th Gen Civic, same thing as I'm doing here with the rear arms, and he didn't make it to the other side, or the other side, whatever, didn't want to come off. But I was wondering if, you know, that was an issue for the 9th Gen Civic in general, but I had no trouble. That one actually took me maybe 5 minutes from wheel off, old arm out, new arm in. That took me there just about 5 minutes or so. I hope you found this video useful. Click the like button if you liked it. Hit it if you or whatever. Thumbs down if you hate it or whatever. But yeah, no, this job did not take me all day. I did start this job in the morning, but then I had to run into work, get some stuff done around the house, take care of the kids, and then finish up the work day in the evening. So other than that, very simple job. I highly recommend to anyone who is taking their suspension in seriously, or if you're not, if you're one of the guys with the, I don't know, 45-degree angle on the wheel, more power to you. But yeah, this was a pretty easy install. I mean, like, if I had to rate it, it would be from, you know, 5 being the most difficult, 1 being the easiest. I'll say it's about a 1, really. It's a 1. All right, subscribe. See you guys later. Come back for more. Next week I should have a video on the front springs. So the Swiss springs that I unboxed just a couple days ago. I don't know when the video came out, can't keep track. But yeah, those should go in this week, and I'll have a video up next week for you guys to watch. Anyway, take it easy. Peace, y'all.